We see roughly a 3 to 4% increase in renewal rates if the attributed beginning source or the attribution beginning from the initial order came from an affiliate. Having conversations from some customers and also with the affiliates, they're essentially reducing the amount of time that it takes as consideration of a purchase, and they go in purchasing with a higher level of confidence that they're making the right selection.
This is Get It Together, the podcast where partnership and go-to-market leaders share the real stories behind programs they've built and scaled. In this episode of Get It Together, I talked to Ben Meyer, who is the VP of Digital Services at Cleverbridge, and we get into all things affiliate related, which I think is an incredible conversation because it is oftentimes such an under-leveraged channel in B2B. And it is certainly a channel that I find is oftentimes ignored by people in partnerships roles, oftentimes taken on by marketing teams. But really what we see, and Ben and I chat about this, is in 2025 and moving into 2026, the real value is getting a bit of a flywheel going where you can have your affiliate program, influencer creative programs driving incredible demand for the business. And having that demand, having that pipeline move over and be closed by your co-sell partners, your resellers, and you get this really interesting, like I said, flywheel going. So Ben and I chat about that. We chat about the role of AI in affiliate and where it's all going. And I think as you listen through this, you'll find some pretty interesting, actionable insights. Enjoy. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Get It Together. In today's episode, I am going to be chatting with Ben Meyer of Cleverbridge. Ben is the VP of Digital Marketing Services, and he's been with Cleverbridge for a good chunk of time. And Ben, I'd love to just start right there. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let's talk about 2011 when you joined.
It was a hell of a year.
Hell of a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lay it on us. What was that journey? What brought you over to Cleverbridge?
Yeah, it's an interesting story and one I think about often. 2011, coming out of college, where I focused on school was in advertising. And it's interesting looking at advertising even back then, a relatively short period of time. It was focused a lot on traditional marketing. A lot of things that I can leverage today, and now being the VP of Digital Marketing Services. But I live in Chicago, so coming out looking for that dream advertising job out of Chicago, actually a very rough time for advertising. So they were looking for 3 to 4 years experience at it, even at an entry level. So that's even hard to meet with internships and so on. So it was essentially a non-paid job right out of college. Didn't know if that necessarily would have flown. So I actually applied for an internship with a company called Cleverbridge. The internship was actually on the digital marketing services team. That internship actually fell through and didn't happen. But at the time, one of the co-founders, his name's Craig, reached out to me, was essentially like, hey, we've had good conversations. Why don't you come learn this thing called e-commerce? And you can essentially get paid to look for a job that meets your needs. Now, fast forward about 15 years later, I am still at Cleverbridge, now overseeing that department that I applied for the internship. But when I first started at Cleverbridge, my focus was I actually joined the customer service team, which was a thing Cleverbridge did back in the day where every new person that came on board had to sit in the customer service realm for a while to understand what our clients are doing. And I look back on those days, the most, even more so now as a leader of this department. Cleverbridge also is the benefit of having two sets of customers. So we have our clients, which are the ones that are interacting with us on our e-commerce level. But then we also have our clients' customers because we're a merchant of record, meaning we own the full purchasing experience through compliance, taxation, managing the cart and the payment processing, and so on. So we get to interact with our clients' customers, which me on a digital marketing services side that we provide on behalf of client, gave myself a pretty good understanding of what our clients' customers are actually saying. We actually turned that into different marketing campaigns, different tactics. It actually is how we started one of our more popular marketing automation programs called Voice of Customer. We didn't have an automated way of just gathering feedback and taking that information into programs to increase customer acquisition, support renewal rates, and successful subscriptions and things like that. So wore every hat in digital marketing services since that time with, the past 15 years. Now the VP of digital marketing services. So I get the pleasure of working with many special and I would say very detail oriented digital marketing experts that span across the globe. And we operate different channels now.
Nice. And so for those that aren't familiar with Clever Bridge, and you touched on a few pieces of what you folks do, but do you want to chat through that? Clever Bridge, who you are, who you serve?
Yeah, CleverBridge is an all-in-one e-commerce and subscription management platform, and our model is one under merchant of record. Merchant of record is kind of similar to operating as a reseller in the case that you're essentially working with CleverBridge to manage a full digital experience. So what I always say to make this simple is that CleverBridge essentially owns the last mile. So if you go to a buy now or a renew now experience, especially underneath the SaaS and digital goods space, that's powered by CleverBridge. So that storefront, the payment processing that's taking place on the back end, what's essentially processing the payments and managing tax and compliance globally is what we do best.
Cool. And so you applied for an internship in the digital marketing services on that team. That fell through, but you still got the opportunity to join. You joined in customer service, moved into email marketing, was an email marketing coordinator. Like, I'd love to hear a little bit about like those experiences and sort of what you pulled into what you're doing now, which is overseeing that full digital experience.
When I came in, especially moving from customer support into the email marketing coordinator role, which is an entry level marketing position, I hadn't even understood HTML, which is the code that powers all emails. And my manager at the time, my first task was to edit 350 HTML templates to render correctly with a very tight timeline on that. So I learned HTML relatively quick and still work within it today. We were a very scrappy team, CleverBridge in a startup mentality back then. We had to do a lot with less and also just continuously moving. So that gave me the opportunity of wearing multiple hats under one role. So that helped me kind of continuously grow. And I will say CleverBridge has always given myself the backing to talk of what we need to be doing as a company, but also help my trajectory within my career, which has also helped me stay within CleverBridge for the past 15 years and so on. If I would have been stagnant in a role doing the same thing, you'd probably be talking to me through a different company. So being a scrappy team, you have to learn marketing channels and tactics a lot faster than I would say just focusing on a singular brand, especially as we're representing so many different brands that are leveraging our service. So that helped me move between different marketing channels relatively quick. And that's actually how, I feel like to a certain degree mastered the email marketing automation realm. I wanted to move more into hardcore market customer acquisition tactics. And actually, since the beginning of CleverBridge's time, we had been developing our own affiliate network. We did have our own platform back in the day, which, great name, very straight to the point, was called the Affiliate Center. And that's where we hosted all of our network of affiliates. And that's how we actually helped a lot of these newer based SaaS companies scale their business in the beginning because they didn't have marketing budget. They didn't have the know-how of how do I reach out into these new markets. And that's essentially what the affiliate marketing, our network, did. And early on had a very heavy interest into that. We had a whole affiliate marketing team where then I started to do overlap. So managing marketing automation programs that were supporting customer acquisition, but I wanted to get more into the upper and the mid funnel focus. So from that point, my focus then became the affiliate program. And our services back in the day was only focused on the network. So our affiliate manager's job was just to build a relationship with these affiliates and then introduce them into accounts. And then from there, we facilitate the partnership and so on. We actually pivoted strategy. We still have a network team that manages the affiliate relationships, but now we actually have a team that manages affiliate programs on behalf of the companies that we work with. So it's kind of twofold, right? We know the right affiliates already. We just make that introduction a lot faster. We get them set up. So that's where companies are starting to see faster revenue and also higher profitability through ROAS by just having it all in one. And obviously you need the right platform to manage all of that and so on.
Cool. What drew CleverBridge into the affiliate world?
So our focus is in digital goods, which is software SaaS based companies. early on, even before I started at Cleverbridge, we were about 5, 6 years in to our maturity at that time. It was quickly identified that we need to have an affiliate network in order to make us look more attractive to the market, especially as clients are coming in. This was back in the day, a level set. It's also interesting now, like looking at our competition, they do not offer much on the affiliate space. And it is one of our core channels for driving acquisition with our clients. So that is why we put the emphasis in there that we need to develop this channel specifically. And also acting as the merchant of record, which is a true partnership with these accounts. They had their own partnerships that they were bringing in. I remember having a very early conversation with CNET back in the day, when I think before they even started really taking off. And it was a client that introduced us into CNET saying, hey, CNET needs a link. They want to promote our product. Can you believe that? Like, how crazy is that? Well, like, and looking back out, like, this is just normal. Like, we need to be at CNET. So it kind of organically, but also a necessity that we needed to create and leverage this affiliate channel specifically.
Cool. And so this is going back to your point, like even pre 2011, before you joined, Cleverbridge was already thinking about affiliate. Relatively still an underutilized channel in B2B. How do those conversations go with you and your customers? So you're talking with a new customer, somebody that's in digital goods, software, maybe they're new to this idea of affiliate. What does that conversation look like? How do you turn it from maybe an afterthought or no thought at all into something kind of critical to acquisition?
Cleverbridge's foundation was built off of B2C. So we can leverage a lot of what the B2C experiences and best practices are. Because B2B is catching up, and they're roughly 5 to 6 years behind what traditional B2B processes are. You also have younger demographics coming into play that are making buying decisions, purchasing behaviors, things like that need to be incorporated in. So it's paramount that you have at least this channel incorporated. The one thing too is if it's a heavy channel focused company, where this starts to get a little sticky and where the conversation really starts to pick up is where they, as a channel based company, one of the biggest conversation is, okay, I got order takers, I got support level partners that are managing my business. This whole area around demand generation, I cannot scale today through a partner ecosystem. You actually can scale that through a partner ecosystem. It's just enabling new partner types. And that is your affiliates, your influencers, and your referral partners, which essentially are somewhat operating in the same format. They just have different focuses that they're specializing in. But when we start to put that under a full partner ecosystem view and map, that is where it clicks for these B2B accounts. And like, you're absolutely right. And it's a benefit for Cleverbridge when our specialty in affiliate, by the way, is we drive to a direct sale. So true percentage-based CPA, rev share, we all have stake in the game. But when you start to explain that it doesn't have to go down that route, you can also incentivize partners to drive leads and then facilitate those leads to your hyperscalers, to regional-based partners. The understanding becomes a lot more, okay, I think there's a negative connotation sometimes with affiliate in the B2B space that it's these coupon sites. You start to promote affiliate types that are not so much focused on coupons, but are actually driving relative content that helps you scale your business to new markets, attract new customers, identify even new features within your product. That really starts to resonate specifically with the personas that we're talking with on the B2B side. And most of the personas we're talking with are somebody usually within a growth realm, a partner realm. Their job is digital transformation. They need to scale and change the way their company thinks. To a certain degree, it starts to become a no-brainer when you start to even present ROI as a component of this.
What I'm hearing is, maybe negative connotations to the word affiliate. I think a lot of us know, where that might come from, which is fair. But when you really start to look at the outcomes that a so-called affiliate can drive, all of a sudden it starts to become a no-brainer, and it becomes far more maybe strategic than it's been looked at. When I say strategic, some of the things you pointed to, moving into new geographies, moving into new buying groups, like these are things that are pretty critical to the business, and they're very challenging things to do. But you're suggesting affiliates can help you get there. So it's not necessarily just, we're just going to funnel leads your way. We can also help you get in front of new buying groups, break into new geographies. We can help you launch new product features, I think you mentioned. That's sort of what you're seeing help with the adoption in some of these B2B brands, is when you lay that out and the impact, that's when it starts to become a no-brainer.
Yeah, big time. Especially in that market expansion realm, right? It's more on the content side, but also publication sites fall under the affiliate realm. They have their own community that they've worked to establish and build up. You're essentially leveraging that community to promote your brand. And it's risky in this day and age. They call it alligator mouth, where marketing costs are increasing, engagement is declining. So you're putting a lot of risk into your business by, I'm going to do a paid media campaign in Germany, for example, without having really the know-how or the backing of what the right strategy is there. You're putting your business at risk, especially on a ROAS calculation. Why not just partner with affiliates that work already in that area that can still fall under some form of paid media, but they already have their community backing or their subscribers, their users, things like that. And if you can get them into a rev share model or some type of compensation-based or commission-based program, it's win-win, and you get to test that program. How hard do you want to go and work it specifically in that region?
Right. So rather than saying you're in the business, you're on the marketing team, top down, it's like, hey, we got to go break into Germany, and throw in a bunch of budget at your paid search person to go run those tests and those experiments, have them probably fail a ton and, learn trial by error. Why not take that budget, give it to a partner, an affiliate who already works in that market, understands it, scale that way. So I think the geography example is a great one. What about breaking into new buying groups? Do you see the same type of support potentially coming from affiliates there, especially as in B2B buying groups and the number of people involved in a decision has just exploded over the past couple of years?
Yeah, and I think part of it is kind of a twofold answer here too, but there is similar strategies that get incorporated that I was just kind of talking about. We reach a wider network with different personas within that company specifically. So I always think this is where attribution becomes an important play, especially as you're working with various affiliate partnerships. Who's going to be driving the actual engagement? Who's going to be driving the direct conversion, things like that. But there's persona-based affiliates out there. Like I always think of CIO.com, right? It's a publication site that focuses and targets on CIOs, CTOs, CTOs. But essentially, it's tapping into those specialty type affiliates to make sure we're reaching the right persona. And I will say the focusing on the younger demographic it's an important tactic that needs to be brought in today. And I think this is going to be our focusing on the influencer side. A lot of our more popular brands, we always say you should be promoting on Twitch, for example, and because that's where we work with some gaming and some back-end gaming software. Always a good spot for you to be promoting your brand. It's a sub network, but it's the affiliate with individuals that are working in Twitch, influencers specifically. They're the ones that can be out there actually promoting your product or your brand to the right demographic.
Yeah. Do you still use the word affiliate, or have you transitioned into using influencer as the term?
Affiliate, influencer, and referrals, they can be put underneath the same bucket. And also I do go back, if I'm talking B2C, affiliate resonates right away. So does influencer and reseller. B2C. On B2B is a little bit different. We actually lead with demand generation partners. It just resonates a lot easier. But we still do refer to them as affiliates. And those are the ones that are true marketing-based sites, publications. They're generating content through their site structure. They're running their own kind of campaigns to drive demand and things like that. I always say think about non-branded keywords is where they're going to be specializing in. But that influencer and referral, you can keep within their own bucket. Influencer is just who's generating content specifically about your brand, but leveraging different mediums to get that message out there. And a lot of times it's under social. The YouTube-based affiliates is kind of, they're flirting between that line. It's essentially however they're being compensated at the end of the day. And then referral, for us, referral is a big program in the case that we work with a lot of software programs that have a cult following or a significant following behind their product. Benefit of us creating these customers on behalf of our clients is we actually can turn them into referral partners. So by giving them links as a part of a thank you for purchasing. We're going to give you access into this referral program. So we try to turn our clients, customers into kind of like a micro sales team in the fact that they have links that they can go out there and promote themselves in the case that, oh, I'm having a conversation about this product. It was so great. We also specialize a lot in CAD software. CAD has those are designs. Those are projects that somebody spent time to create. If you're going out there and promoting it, why not get compensated for it and help support the product that you love? So that's where referral kind of becomes a big play for us entity as well.
I asked the question on whether or not you call it affiliate still, because we do, but I also find myself, depending on who I'm talking with, I might refer to it differently, right? So I love what you said in terms of a blanket category of like demand gen partners. I think that lands really well. I've also found people that invest into PR, calling it digital PR lands with them as well. There is still a negative connotation to affiliate. But then when you actually look at what these websites are, who these people are, like they could be a massive publication. They could be somebody who has a huge, newsletter subscription list that very much has the attention of the audience you're trying to get the attention of. Could be a YouTube channel, same idea, huge following of the folks that you're trying to get in front of. And so I think it really does go back to just 101. Right? You need to build trust. You need to build credibility. And one of the most impactful ways to do that is to do it with the people who already have that credibility, that trust. You mentioned B2C. What do you think B2B can learn from B2C when it comes to affiliate, influencer, creator, et cetera?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that B2B can learn from B2C is two things. One is just the quality of partnerships you're bringing in. So making sure you're figuring out the right level of testing. How are you enabling those partners or affiliates with enough information to go out there, promote your brand? I would always say too, same with B2C, probably more so in the beginning with B2B, spending the time to review the affiliates that are coming on board. B2C is different in the case of the buying process, right? You have a longer sales cycle with a higher AOV that's coming through on the B2B side. So to me, you need to select the right partners that are going to understand your business. And those affiliates are then going to go out there and promote. So spend a little bit more time on the review component of it to make sure you understand their business as well. And then that's how you kind of create this synergy between your two companies. Do I have the right material, enablement, training documents that they can have access to? Also, the number one success lever in affiliate marketing is fostering the relationship. So making sure you are establishing some form of a relationship with the partner. That was very strong on the B2C side because in the software space, if you didn't have an affiliate program, you're behind. So I would say the relationships were a lot more competitive back then in the case, like everybody's competing against each other, commission tiering and things like that. B2B is right now, even some of these like main verticals don't have affiliate marketing in there. So untapped resource, especially if you're a game changer or a change agent. Why not start activating these type of partnerships to get ahead of the competition? You get some market attraction just by doing those type of partnerships and activating that channel.
I think that's a really good point because I do find there are a lot of instances, and I find myself in a lot of conversations where I'm talking with somebody who manages the affiliate program and it's treated as strictly a transactional channel, which is understandable, right? Like everything about it sounds transactional, right? It's a rev share. We're paying per lead. We're talking about testing and experimentation, but the sort of unintended consequence in all of that is I find that the relationship side of it is sort of lost. You're treating an affiliate just as part of this kind of massive just experiment that you're running, and you're not really, spending the time to understand their business, what's important to them. And so where I'm going with that question wise is, what have you found to be critical in that relationship building with an affiliate? I'll say it out loud, right? Somebody who is a very successful affiliate, their brains work a little bit differently than other types of partners and other types of third parties you might be working with. How do you build a really good relationship with them? One that will be multi-year, beneficial to both parties. What does that look like?
I do want to hit on one point that you made because I completely agree with you that the affiliate and even just in general partnerships today, it's less about the transaction component. Like we're in an age of transformation right now. So it's how are we transforming the different partnerships and the relationships we have with these partners and affiliates today, right? So I think going back to what I said before is you have to have that close alignment, especially with what you know will be the stronger affiliates that you put within your program. And you might not know who those affiliates are yet. They might be in there right now, but there needs to be a level of incentivization incorporated into your program. That's why, like, when we're setting up a new account, we always put incentive tiers in there, even from the get-go. So how do I move from, maybe I come in at a bronze package, how do I move to silver to gold? That's creating like a loyalty program within your own affiliate program. So it gives every side kind of stake in the game. But that's essentially how you build a very strong affiliate base. It's the same thing like how you track your mileage program with your airlines, right? I might take that extra flight just to get to that next level, even though I don't need to go somewhere. Those affiliates are also thinking in the same way. Like, what do I need to do to get to that next level? And they're actively looking at it. And that's where I think affiliates, for affiliates that are listening too, I'm sure that they should also be interested in their own growth and what do they need to be getting back from the advertiser or the brand in this case. So it's that two-way level of communication. Both sides need to talk, both sides need to listen, both sides need to act. Same thing as a relationship.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So far, we've talked a lot about how affiliates can support top of funnel. They can support acquisition. What about post-sale? Do you see affiliates, influencers, other partner types supporting the entire journey, inclusive of post-sale?
I do. I think it's a smaller impact on the retention side, but it's a different level of impact. And on the Cleverbridge side, we sit on a wealth of information, mainly around purchasing behaviors and so on, and obviously managing our own affiliate network. And I think this goes down to the consideration phase that a lot of customers go through as a part of visitors to customers as they're reviewing. But we see roughly a 3 to 4% increase in renewal rates if the attributed beginning source came, or the attribution in the beginning from the initial order came from an affiliate. So with having conversations from some customers and also with the affiliates, they're essentially reducing the amount of time that it takes as consideration of a purchase, and they go in purchasing with a higher level of confidence that they're making the right selection, which then makes sure that they continue on with the subsequential renewals and so on. On the B2B side, though, this does become a little bit different, especially if you create that incentive or compensation programs. There's always a land and expand opportunity within B2B. So however, they might be supporting that initial conversion, which is maybe their main product, but then they offer a subset of add-ons or cross-sells or upsells that they can get incentivized on. They have to be incorporated in managing that sales cycle, but also making sure that those customers have completed the activation of the initial product. They might not care necessarily so much about the product experience, how the customer is navigating within that product, but they're going to focus on what is the selling points against upsell and cross-sell, which once again, this is going to go back to the enablement component. Are you giving enough information to the affiliate so that they can actively go in and do that? You give more information to the affiliate, there's more that affiliate can do to support your business. So if they're promoting leads, they're not able to see that these are being moved to a closed one or there is an expansion opportunity, then they're not going to be able to support you. But if they have that level of information, then they can go in there and actually just do it themselves. It's all based on controls that you've essentially put in and so on. But I also think too, on the reverse side of this, especially if you're working with, let's say, your G2s, your trust radiuses of the world, which can technically fall within this bucket as well. How are they gathering reviews? Might not help the acquisition, or helps the acquisition, but also does help retention, especially as new users are coming on board.
I don't think we can go a conversation without talking AI.
I haven't heard of this thing. What's it called again?
Oh, you haven't? Oh, wow. You're going to be blown away.
I heard it's cool.
It's so helpful.
Yeah.
It's neat, as the kids say. What are you seeing when it comes to the affiliate world, the usage of AI?
Where to begin with this conversation of AI? AI it's a game changer, and we've had to kind of pivot on a lot of our strategies. And this is not just on the affiliate side, but on Cleverbridge too, as we specialize on the e-commerce side. So us enabling digital buying agents, recovery-based agents, things like that, or AI strategies. It's pretty much all we talk about. we did need to change our strategy and tactics when it comes to AI, just because of the understanding of AEO and GEO specifically. Search rankings and stackings have completely changed essentially overnight. If it's not a modernized affiliate or a site that is staying up to date, they're going to get crushed on search, specifically as it's being generated by some type of AI. This also incorporates and brings up new affiliates, especially sites that specialize in AEO and GEO. Going back to something that I said before about coupon affiliates, we're actually seeing the resurgence of coupon affiliates right now, especially as like Google has just launched their e-commerce, their buying agent specifically. They're prioritizing discounted products based on a set. So it's going to be an interesting time. B2C will need to offer some type of coupon, and it'll be interesting if B2B, how they play with discounts, because I would recommend to start with the discount on the B2B side. But just even in order to have a light discount to rank, specifically how the AI is incorporating or bringing up your site organically and also within the search is going to become important. But also this means identifying and updating your keywords specifically. So non-branded keywords, how does that get incorporated into AI search functionality? You're going to see some publication sites really dominate the space, especially ones that have a wide array of publication sites, but also some specialty ones that come in there that have really focused on the brand, non-branded keywords that can set themselves as differentiators. I would say a recruitment process has changed where we're looking for affiliates that specialize more on the AI side of things.
Cool. Yeah. More and more companies looking towards affiliates to help with just simple citation building, improving brand mentions. Like, is that some of what you're talking about in terms of?
Yeah. And especially the site references and backlinking, which has always been a underutilized or not talked about enough benefit of affiliates. By the way, this is just AI is just bringing it up more and can do things faster. So that's where we kind of see it coming up. But that's also where I put the non-branded keyword component in there too, especially if you're looking to extend your reach on your site. Backlinking does become a significant component to the strategy.
Cool. Any advice or anything that you would share with folks as they think about either launching an affiliate program or scaling out one that they have, but maybe has been just off the side of someone's desk, hasn't been overly invested into?
I would kind of frame this just based on the conversation that's transitioned, especially taking the learnings from B2C. It's a paramount channel to have some type of affiliate program activated to support with scaling your business, supporting costs, things like that. And actually, Cleverbridge, we just finalized generating a report that we call the friction report. So this report essentially highlights different issues or friction that is created through digital buying. And one of the metrics that we'll go into detail on is that 98% of software vendors are now selling at least partially through some type of e-commerce channel. So going back to what I said on the B2C side, it was a necessary channel to have some type of affiliate program out there promoting your digital products. B2B now being within that space and having such a high percentage of software companies selling online, you need an affiliate channel to continue to sustain that level of growth. It's also going to be, don't take the market expansion lightly. In the case that if you try to do it yourself, it does become a very cumbersome and difficult process. Leverage partners to do that, and affiliates are an easy way to get started, especially if you're working out a different level of commission. So I always say, just don't push this one off because something else came up. It's low-hanging fruit, quick win opportunities. You just need to get the program.
Nice. Any big predictions for what the next 12 months looks like?
Oh, good question. I mean, there's going to be the advancement. AI is going to be the biggest component. As the agents, the agentic AI becomes more popular, I think we'll see affiliate agents start to become more of a popular thing, especially as how are we leveraging agents to do recruitment, nurturing of different affiliate relationships, but also incorporating buying process direct on that affiliate site. So you think of things like Google Shopping. Right now, it's starting small. New AI tactics typically do see this becoming a more popular thing. So think about some larger publication sites actually enacting their own purchasing experience. How are they receiving compensation by not managing a storefront, actually having an e-commerce experience? And you can see this already kind of happening on the payment space, which there is also a relative kind of similarity between the two, but like MasterCard and PayPal are starting to identify what their agentic approaches are going to be. There's going to be more of an affiliate focus on that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Given how quickly the space moves, the pace of change, how do you stay current? What would you recommend for folks that are trying to stay on top of everything?
The first is actually the technology. So identifying the right level of technology that manages the affiliate program. And that is where your network's going to sit, where all of your marketing materials, your links are being generated. Why I bring the technology up is because that's actually where I gain and my team gains most of the knowledge. They have to have the right level of know-how, especially if they come with a network team, right? They're actually assisting you in your own company-wide growth. So documentation, specifically with your tech partner, in this case, is very important. Also, going back to my advertising mindset, I stay relatively up to date on advertising, periodicals and articles specifically. So like Ad Age, still a great relevant based publication. They talk a lot about the digital space, and that's where we do a lot of recruitment too, where there's some affiliates that we identified in there. But their practices of advertising is essentially the same that falls underneath the affiliate. You're just asking partners to do those things. So it's part of it is staying up to date on marketing tactics and best practices, and how does that relate into more of a partner ecosystem.
Ben, thank you very much. I appreciate the time. Thanks for the conversation. Appreciate it. How can people get in touch with you if they want to ask any follow-up questions?
Yeah, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Just search Ben Meyer at Cleverbridge and you'll find me there. I think that'd probably be the best place.
All right. Easy. Let's leave it at that. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, Tyler. Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Get It Together. If you want more resources to help you build and scale your partnership program, be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast app. And get more proven tips and tools at partnerstack.com/getittogether.